Hello, everyone that may be viewing this, and all of the spirit dimensions are viewing this. Well, maybe with the exception of a few that are like binded, perhaps. Because there is places for wicked spirits. Anyway, what I'm going to talk about is a spiritual experience, or it wasn't an experience, but it was to where I was in two dimensions. And this has happened to me before. I am partly in a spirit dimension and in the physical reality. A person like me can understand that because of who we are. Some of us are like I am, and I've been this way since I was a child. And I'm not crazy because I've been this way before I ever started grammar school in the early 1960s. And, I'm like a month or less than a month of being age 68. And I've done very well in life. And I'm very successful in doing well and have provided and succeeded in life very, very well. So that's definitely not crazy, and also I am happy. But this is where I was in two dimensions, but allowed to be in my dimension while I also was a part of another dimension. Or actually, I saw the other dimension. It was, I don't know the exact year, maybe about the year 2012, perhaps, somewhere in there. My dad died in August of 2005 at age 74. Okay, when I was a boy, he assaulted me, beat me with a leather strap. He was very evil. After him and my mother divorced in 1967, I was only age 12. And he would assault me repeatedly and even fractured the right side of my skull when I was only 12 years old. And he would starve me. And he had a lot of money. He was rich. And other evil things he did, throughout my adult life even. Very wicked person. And he left quite a pile on his slate when he left this life in 2005, I'll tell you what. Well, anyway, I saw him a couple of times after he physically died. His spirit would come to me. But what I saw around the year 2012 is him in council with two spiritual entities. It was a marble banana shaped desk that was long, a marble top. And there was two entities. They had human-like bodies. They sat upright, and it looks like their garments were white because, see, the light around their bodies was so bright you really couldn't make out any kind of garment. And their heads were large, but they were also fairly large entities. In their faces, there was a lot of light, and on the sides, to where you could see their face and them move their head, but there was a lot of light. And no, they did not have wings. Okay, and a council meeting was held. And my dad, he was sitting on the other side of this table that these entities were sitting at. And what it is, they never said anything to him or never said anything to me. But at the starting of this meeting, I remember I saw this other dimension. I was sitting where I'm sitting at right now, but to my right, I saw this other dimension. It was just simply there, just simply there. You know, and I remember they would look at me, and I would immediately, not by force, but by desire, they would touch an area of my heart and mind to make me want to disclose and say the things that my dad did to me when I was a boy. And I said, he did this, he did that, he had money, he starved me. And then I would stop talking. And then they would, both of their heads would turn and they would look at him. And I would not hear him say anything, but I know he was being evaluated by these two entities. I do know this. And when this ended, I knew in my heart, soul, and mind, spirit, I knew that what had happened here, they were trying to work with his spirit to see what level and where he was at, to configure his level, and if he had gained any wisdom or feeling or remorse. Because see, when my dad was living, he always denied his wrongs. He always denied them. He would ignore them. But see, once you're in the spirit world, people, after you physically die, you cannot ignore anything that you have done. Anything you ignore in this life that you have done wrong, you're going to have to work it out once you're in the spirit world. And you can make it harder or easier on yourself. You've got to be totally honest. Because, see, in wisdom and love, there can only be logic and truth, and nothing else. No lies. Lies will only hold any entity, spirit, down. Now, I have several videos on my pre-birth experiences. I have had one near-death experience that I can recall. But that's not so important. I saw a lot of people, very happy people, in the near-death experience. I remember seeing that, very happy, and I didn't want to come back. I remember that. I didn't want to come back. And that happened, I think, around 2006. Okay, but my pre-birth experience, okay, I know who I was in my previous life. I know who I was in my previous life. I had two sons, and they're still living today, even though I'm nearly 68. I have two sons. One is around 80, one is around 82. I was killed when I was age, I was killed in the year 1953. And I was arrested for a crime I did not commit. It was in 1952. I remember that very, very well. My wife's name was Ethel. And no, Ethel's not gone. No spirit is ever gone, people. No spirit is ever gone. No, Ethel is still with me. She shares. She has given me advice. And what it is, she just puts it into my own mind. She's given me her Lucida French script handwriting. She's given me that. It's beautiful, and some art abilities, not to draw pictures of animals and people, but art like you take a Christmas card or a Valentine's card. I can do that kind of cursive handwriting and beat anybody. I am the best. You know, like the Coca-Cola cursive, emblem, or the cursive Cadillac, you know, um, which what that is French script and Lucida handwriting is what that is. Um, but, the spirit dimension. Now, here's something people need to learn. They think that if you have pre-birth experiences like before you were born and being on earth and, entering your mother's body to be reborn, they think that means you can answer any question about heaven, hell, or anything. That's not true. It depends on what dimension you're in. See, in the spirit dimensions, you don't say the spirit dimension. No, dimensions. Uh, there are different dimensions. I have never been in hell, and I can't ever remember being in heaven, and I don't know what it's like in heaven. But I trust, because of the word of Jesus Christ, what it would be like. I mean, it's to where everything is perfect. Nothing is bad, but everything is perfect. And because Jesus Christ is perfect, all love, all wisdom, Almighty God, and Jesus Christ. And, but I can't recall ever being there. And there could be but I do remember my past life. I do remember that. And I do remember being earthbound for what would have been, let's see, 1, 2, 2.5, or 3 years before I was reborn, February of 1956. I do remember that, being earthbound. And there's no such thing as distance. You can just think and be somewhere. Or you can just float, and if you want to see through the roof of a house to look at the occupants in it, you can just simply do it. Do it. And if you choose to influence people for the good, you can do that, because that's something I did in the spirit world. And my mother died almost 2 months ago, November 11th. She's in the spirit world right now. See, there is no dormant period or where people are supposedly comatose. Those are lies by fraud, false religions. As soon as anybody dies, they are aware immediately. Because the spirit never dies. You cannot kill the spirit. And the dimension you're going to go in is a dimension based on your intentions and how you are. Your intentions and what you would do if you could is how you will judge yourself and where you will be placed. You will be placed, I don't know if you can compare it to this life. It's like the alcoholic drunkard and the poker person that gambles, that's obsessed with gambling. Where are they going to go? They're not going to go and get a good night's sleep or eat a good meal or help anybody, but they're going to go to a bar where there's gambling. Okay, well, it's the same way in the spirit world. They're only going to become a part of what they were. And it's up to them if they want to evolve or not. And see, like the council, the two entities, one of them, I don't believe, was Jesus Christ, but they were messengers of Jesus Christ to counsel my father, like, are you ready to tell the truth and to learn and to learn. And it's possible he might have been made to have to go through and feel everything I felt when I was that boy that was beat and starved when he was rich. He was very rich, see. And my mother was very wicked. You know, here's something I didn't realize. When I was a teenage boy, I had great love for my mother, and I never suspected her. But my mother was my worst enemy in this life because she told people lies about me. And the reason she did this, I now know, is because she had fear of losing me, so she wanted people to fear me and to reject me, you see? That's why she made up lies about me. And she was a liar of liars. She told lies on everybody. She was a bad liar. And, you know, all the money, you know, I told you about a will that's, you know, after she became deceased 2 months ago, about this ignorant will that she had made that probably cannot even be executed in a probate manner in a civil court of law. But I don't care, you know, because it's money she hoarded, but actually it never belonged to her. It's from me and my sister's biological fathers back Social Security benefits, but then she's answering for that now in a spiritual dimension. But I do remember being in the earthbound spirit dimension. I know how it is. You know, we can see people. We hear them. We can travel just by thinking. Or we can hover, look down. You know, anything we wish. There's no such thing as size. Because I remember, first off, you know, the moon is translucent. I remember things I did in the spirit world that I couldn't do in this life. I would increase my size until I was where the moon was. And then I would reach my spiritual hand to touch the moon, and my hand would just go through it. Because the moon is a light. It's not a planet, it's a light, people. See, what people need to learn, it's not a matter of planets or in outer space. There's no distance. It's dimensions. Dimensions. See, it's like the music you listen to on a car radio. Okay, you don't see that music floating through the air into the instrument that plays the music, do you? That's because it comes in through an electromagnetic dimension to the piece of equipment. That's why. And that's why your thoughts and everything you say is known by every living person on this earth. Because we are a conduit in that way. We are all connected because we belong to the same energy. But some of us have more energy. Some people have lesser energy that are ignorant and choose to be wicked. That's how it works, people. And there are dimensions in the spirit world. And it can be the worst, or it can be a little better, or the best. You know, it depends. But see, everybody, they must evolve from what they are. But here's how to know where you're going to go after you physically die. What are your intentions? Would you take $10,000 to sign a petition to open an abortion clinic in your town or city? If the answer is yes, you're going to go to a hell-based dimension. It's going to happen. Okay, it's going to happen. Anybody, see, we are all born with the truth in us. That's why we have a conscience. Abortion is murder. It's murder, people. And anybody that's had an abortion, they have bad luck because, see, it's karma. You reapeth what thou hast sowed. You will reap what you have sown, people. It will happen, health problems. And then where you go after you pass away. It's like wherever my mother is right now, she's having to reckon with all of these lies, and keeping money she was never entitled to and not sharing it. She's having to reckon with these things, people. And as long as she denies it or fights it, it can take 1,000 years. Or it can take a year if she decides to be truthful and learn the hurt she caused other humans, the damage she did to my sister's lives, the damage she did to all the animals on our ranch when I was a teenage boy. You see? But anything I want to add? Well, here's something that's sad. None of you are going to listen to anything that I have said to you because Satan clouds the brain of people and doesn't want them to know the truth. And there are many unclean spirits around each and every one of you. And that is why you will not listen to me. But here's something you can't do. You cannot say, that guy's crazy. No, because I succeeded well and I'm happy. And under the medical guidelines, if you are no harm to yourself and happy and no harm to others and successful, you are perfect mentally. There you go. Okay. And Jesus Christ is our Savior. And I have witnessed miracles because I believe. But later, and don't say goodbye to people. Just say later, I'll see you later, I'll talk to you later. Or if you say bye for now. Don't say the word goodbye, because that can be permanent. You got to watch what comes out of your mouth. Words are very powerful. Bye-bye, everyone, for right now. Da 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 da, it's a beautiful night.